Have you ever wondered what the biggest threat to your health might be after 70? Most people immediately think of cancer, heart disease, or Alzheimer's. But there's something that kills more seniors than cancer, yet we rarely talk about it: social isolation and loneliness. The truth is, being alone isn't just emotionally painful, it's physically dangerous. Studies show that chronic loneliness increases your risk of early death by 45%, more than obesity, more than smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and yes, even more than many forms of cancer. What most people don't realize is that isolation doesn't just make you feel bad, it literally changes your body. Your immune system weakens, inflammation increases, and your brain begins to function differently. By the time most seniors recognize how serious this is, they've already experienced damage to their physical and mental health. Some people assume this is just part of aging, that feeling disconnected and alone is inevitable. But that's not true. In this video, we're going to explore 7 powerful ways to overcome social isolation and rebuild meaningful connections, even if you're over 70, even if your family lives far away, and even if mobility issues have limited your world. Some of these approaches may surprise you, and others might challenge what you've always believed about relationships in later life. Stay with me until the end, because the last method is one that most people never consider, yet it can transform not just your social life, but your health and longevity in ways you never thought possible. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. If you don't like it, type 0 in the comments to let me know so I can make better videos for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. The hidden danger of pride and independence. One of the most unexpected barriers to connection after 70 isn't the lack of opportunity, it's pride. Many older adults, especially those who've been independent their whole lives, resist reaching out because they don't want to be a burden or appear needy. This silent pride might feel like dignity, but it's actually one of the quickest paths to dangerous isolation. When you've spent decades taking care of yourself and others, it can feel almost impossible to admit that you're lonely or that you need connection. But here's what most people don't understand. Human beings at every age need social bonds to survive. It's not a weakness, it's biology. Your brain is wired for connection, and when it doesn't get it, your stress hormones rise, your immune system weakens, and your cardiovascular system begins to deteriorate. Think about how you'd respond if a friend told you they were feeling isolated. Would you judge them as weak or needy? Probably not. Yet we often hold ourselves to impossible standards, refusing to acknowledge our own basic human needs. This pride might feel like strength in the moment, but over time, it creates a prison of isolation that gets harder and harder to escape. If you recognize this pattern in yourself, the first step is giving yourself permission to need people. Start small. Reach out to just one person this week, not with an elaborate explanation, but with a simple invitation for coffee or a phone call. You'll be surprised how many people are waiting for that connection just as much as you are. Number 2. Redefining family beyond blood relations. Many seniors fall into isolation because they believe that meaningful connection can only come from family members. When children or grandchildren are busy, distant, or unavailable, they resign themselves to loneliness, not realizing that some of the most powerful bonds can be formed outside of blood relations. In fact, research shows that for many older adults, non-family relationships can sometimes provide more consistent emotional support than family ties. This isn't because family doesn't matter, but because connections built on shared interests and mutual choice often create a unique kind of bond that's free from complicated family dynamics or obligations. Take someone like Eleanor, 78. After her husband passed away, she waited by the phone for her children to call, growing increasingly lonely and resentful when they couldn't visit as often as she hoped. Her health began to decline, and she felt herself withdrawing more each day. Then one afternoon, she reluctantly attended a community garden event where she met Maria, another widow in her 80s. They had no family connection, but shared a love of plants and dry humor. Within months, they had built a friendship more reliable and nurturing than many family relationships. Eleanor's blood pressure improved, Her sleep deepened, and most importantly, she felt seen again. If you've been focusing exclusively on family for your social needs, try expanding your definition of meaningful connection. Look for people who share your interests, values, or life experiences. These chosen relationships aren't replacements for family, but they can become a powerful support system that enhances your life in ways that family alone sometimes cannot. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, technology connection. Not just for the young. Many seniors dismiss technology as confusing, complicated, or just for young people. But avoiding digital connection is no longer just a preference. It's a risk factor for isolation, especially as more of society moves online. The good news is that you don't need to become a tech expert to use connection tools that can dramatically reduce loneliness. Studies show that older adults who use video calling to stay in touch with others experience significant reductions in depression and loneliness compared to those who rely only on phone calls or in-person visits. This is because video allows you to see facial expressions, body language, and environmental cues that create a richer sense of presence and connection. The key is starting with just one simple tool and mastering it before moving on. Don't try to learn everything at once. Many seniors find that tablets with large icons and simplified interfaces are easier to use than computers. And contrary to what you might think, most younger family members are happy to help you learn. They want to connect with you too. Remember that technology isn't meant to replace in-person connection. It's a bridge to maintain relationships when distance, mobility issues, or other barriers make face-to-face interaction difficult. Even a 10-minute video call with a friend or family member can provide meaningful connection that sustains your emotional and physical health. If technology has intimidated you in the past, ask for help setting up just one connection tool this week. Many community centers and libraries offer free technology classes specifically designed for older adults, where you can learn at your own pace in a supportive environment. Number 4, the power of routine interactions. One of the most overlooked sources of connection is what sociologists call weak ties, the casual, everyday interactions with people we encounter regularly, but don't consider close friends. The barista who remembers your coffee order, the mail carrier who stops for a brief chat, the neighbor you wave to while gardening. These seemingly minor connections actually play a crucial role in preventing isolation and maintaining cognitive health. As we age, these casual interactions often disappear without us noticing. We might stop going to the coffee shop, switch to online shopping instead of visiting stores, or spend less time in public spaces. Each small change seems insignificant, but together they create a vacuum where meaningful, casual interactions used to exist. David and Michael, both 73, live in the same retirement community but have very different approaches to their daily routines. David rarely leaves his apartment, having groceries delivered and limiting his activities to watching television. Michael, however, makes a point of walking to the community mailbox at the same time each day, visits the local diner twice a week where the staff know him by name, and stops by the front desk to chat briefly with whoever is working. Though neither man has family nearby, Michael consistently reports higher levels of satisfaction and connection, despite not having more close friends than David. The key is creating intentional routines that put you in contact with the same people on a regular basis. These don't have to be deep friendships. Simply being recognized and acknowledged fulfills a basic human need for visibility and belonging. Try identifying 2 to 3 places you can visit on a regular schedule, where you'll encounter the same people. A morning coffee shop, an afternoon walk in the park, or a weekly visit to a local business can create a web of casual connections that significantly reduces isolation. Number 5, finding purpose through contribution. One of the most reliable paths out of isolation is shifting your focus from what you're missing to what you can give. After 70, many people find themselves without the roles that once defined them. Careers end, children grow up, partners may pass away. This loss of purpose can accelerate isolation, creating a sense that you're no longer needed or valuable to others. But the truth is that your wisdom, experience, and time are incredibly valuable resources, especially in a world that moves too quickly. When you find ways to contribute these gifts, you not only help others, you create natural opportunities for meaningful connection that combat isolation. Volunteering even just 2 to 3 hours a week has been shown to reduce the risk of isolation by up to 63% in older adults. But it's not just about filling time, it's about finding the right fit for your specific skills and interests. The most effective contributions are those that leverage what you uniquely bring to the table. If you were once a professional, consider mentoring young people in your field. If you're good with your hands, organizations like Habitat for Humanity welcome volunteers of all ages. If you love animals, local shelters often need people to simply sit with and socialize cats and dogs. If mobility is an issue, consider phone-based support roles, such as crisis lines or check-in services for other seniors. The key is finding something that feels meaningful to you, not just something to fill time. When you contribute in ways that align with your values and strengths, connections form naturally around shared purpose, creating relationships that are both personally fulfilling and protective against the health risks of isolation. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 5 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 6. Embracing structured social activities. Many seniors resist organized social activities because they seem forced or artificial compared to the organic connections they've had throughout their lives. They might think, I'm not going to make real friends at a senior center, or those group activities aren't for people like me. But this resistance often leads to missed opportunities for meaningful connection. The reality is that after 70, the natural pathways to friendship that existed earlier in life, through work, raising children, or neighborhood connections, begin to disappear. Creating new connections often requires more structure, at least initially. The good news is that structured activities actually increase, not decrease, the likelihood of forming authentic relationships. This happens because structured activities remove the awkwardness of having to initiate interaction from scratch. When you're engaged in a shared activity, whether it's a book club, exercise class, art workshop, or discussion group, conversation flows more naturally around the common experience. Over time, these activity-based connections often evolve into deeper friendships that extend beyond the original context. What matters most is finding activities that genuinely interest you. Don't force yourself to attend events that don't align with your values or preferences, just for the sake of socializing. Instead, look for opportunities that connect to things you already care about. If you love reading, a book club offers both intellectual stimulation and social connection. If you value your spiritual life, religious communities often provide both meaningful ritual and social support. The key is consistency. Attending once won't create lasting connections, but showing up regularly to the same group allows trust and familiarity to develop over time. Start with just one structured activity that interests you. Commit to attending at least 4 to 6 times, and watch how connections begin to form almost effortlessly around your shared experience. Number 7. Rebuilding connection through physical touch. This final point might surprise you, but it addresses one of the most overlooked aspects of isolation in older adults: the profound lack of physical touch. After 70, especially for those who live alone, days or even weeks might pass without experiencing a handshake, a hug, or any form of physical contact with another person. This touch deprivation isn't just emotionally painful, it has measurable effects on physical health. Studies show that touch deprivation increases stress hormones, weakens immune function, and even accelerates cognitive decline. Your skin, the largest organ in your body, contains thousands of nerve receptors designed specifically to process touch information. When these receptors aren't stimulated regularly, your nervous system begins to function less effectively, creating a cascade of negative health effects. While this is a sensitive topic, there are respectful, appropriate ways to increase healthy touch in your life. Regular massages from a licensed therapist provide not just touch, but therapeutic benefits for muscles and circulation. Pet ownership offers consistent, unconditional physical contact. Even stroking a cat or dog releases oxytocin, reducing stress and improving heart health. For those who are part of religious communities, many services include moments of appropriate contact like handshakes or holding hands during prayer. Dance classes designed for seniors create a context for touch that's both socially acceptable and physically beneficial. Even something as simple as getting regular haircuts provides valuable human contact that stimulates those touch receptors. The key is recognizing that appropriate physical touch isn't a luxury. It's a health necessity, especially as you age. Being proactive about incorporating healthy touch into your life can significantly reduce the physical and emotional effects of isolation, helping you stay healthier and more connected for years to come. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on these 7 approaches to combating isolation after 70. We've discussed how overcoming pride can open doors to new connections, how expanding your definition of family creates possibilities beyond blood relations, and how even simple technology can bridge important gaps. We've explored the power of casual interactions, the connection that comes from finding purpose through contribution, the surprising effectiveness of structured social activities, and finally, the vital importance of healthy physical touch for your overall well-being. The most important thing to remember is that isolation is not an inevitable part of aging. It's a health risk that can be addressed through intentional choices and consistent action. You don't need to implement all 7 strategies at once. Even starting with just one can begin to shift your experience and reduce your risk. Many seniors find that the effort to rebuild connection feels overwhelming at first, but becomes easier with each small step. The human brain is remarkably resilient, and your capacity for meaningful connection doesn't diminish with age. In fact, many people report that the relationships they build after 70 are among the most authentic and fulfilling of their lives, precisely because they're chosen with the wisdom that comes from decades of experience. As you move forward, remember that seeking connection isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of courage and self-care. Your health, your longevity, and your quality of life depend not just on medical care or physical activity, but on the strength of your social bonds. By taking steps to nurture those bonds, you're making one of the most important health investments possible. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.